Okay, so let's talk about GitHub. GitHub is a terrific version control tool. So you can upload your files, your work, into the cloud for free, and it keeps track of all prior versions. So if you need to get a prior version, you can, but it also keeps backups of the latest versions, and you can upload releases, you can upload Word documents, presentations, videos, audio, icons, whatever you need to upload. So it's not just text file source code, it can be used for just about anything. Okay, and I use GitHub a lot. I used to use other tools before GitHub, but now I'm moving everything into GitHub. So all of my Java stuff is there, or most of my Java stuff. I'm going to be moving my C++ stuff soon. I'm going to be moving my Delphi, Pascal stuff in the future, and so on. So I'll be moving everything I have into GitHub. Okay, so why use GitHub? Well, it's a free backup of your work in the cloud. There's a paid version as well if you need to use it with Teams or whatever. But just for a normal developer, a single developer like me, I can use it for free for as many projects as I like. You're going to be using GitHub or something like GitHub if you go on to be a software developer or a business analyst or anything to do with developing software in the future. And it's probably going to be used for other things as well, because you can use it for, like I said, Word documents, presentations, graphics. So graphic designers can use GitHub. Software developers can use GitHub. Anyone that's sharing documents or working with documents or keeping multiple versions of documents or keeping a document history could certainly benefit from using GitHub. Okay, so it's not just source code. So you can retrieve the latest version or any other version of your work whenever you need to. It's just simple commands. And like I said, it's not just for software developers. And one thing I really like is that when I upload, if I do a bit of work on a project, I upload the changes, put a comment in. I do a bit more work on a project, upload changes, put a comment in, do a bit more work. So I'm uploading to the cloud frequently during the day, maybe every hour. Okay, so if my PC dies and I need to move to a new PC, the most I can lose is maybe an hour's work. That's the worst case. So imagine using that for assignments or your tutorial work or whatever you're doing, your own projects. Okay, so any students in my classes, you're going to be using GitHub from day one. Okay, no ifs, buts or maybes. Get onto it straight away and use it throughout the term. Okay, because I won't be giving you assignment extensions if you lose your work because of a hard drive crash or a virus or whatever, because with GitHub that can't happen. The most you can lose, if you're doing proper regular backups, is half an hour or an hour's work. Okay, enough of that. And like I said, you can also work on team projects or share files as well with others. So I've got a whole bunch of GitHub repos or repositories or projects, and most of my projects at this stage are private, but I have some public ones, and they're ones the source code I've released to the public. For example, work tutorial questions and all that sort of stuff are public GitHubs, public repos. So very good. Get on board. There's no reason to not get on board. It's so easy to use. Okay, so and there's no excuses if you don't use it. Righto. So now, how can you use it? You can use it via a web browser. You can use it via a GitHub GUI front end, some sort of graphical user interface front end. There's many available. Or you can just run command line commands. I'm going to show you all three. Okay, and then you can choose the way you want to do it. The way I mostly do it, well, I'll show you the way I do it at the end. Okay, so let's do it. First thing you need to do is create a GitHub account. Okay, so here I am on GitHub, github.com. You click the sign up icon, you fill out a little form, you type in the password, an email address and a username, click the sign up button, and it will send you a confirmation email, an activation email where you go through the activation process, just like you do with everything else these days in the modern world. Okay, so there's nothing unusual there. And once you've got your account activated, you can go to the sign in screen, and then you get your sign in. So I've got my details recorded already, entered already. I'll click the sign in, and you can see all your repos here. And basically, you can click here, and that'll take you to your first repo that you've been working on. But just click your name again, your account name, and it shows you your main repositories. And down here you've got a bit of a contributions history. Okay, so my Moose Valley account's only been active since July. So and so once you're in here, if you want to see what you've done today, you can click on a day, okay, and then you can see what you've been working on, and you can actually click on these links here, and it will take you to the code that you've updated and show you what you've changed. How amazing is that? So you can click on any day of the year, and it gives you a list of what you did in that day of the year, and you can click on it and see what you did. How useful! Okay, so this isn't just a pretty chart. It's actually a diary of what you did. So pretty amazing stuff. And there's my repositories there. So I've got 136 currently. Only about 50, I think, are public. Okay, so what do you do? So we're going to use it through the web browser now. So we want to create a new repository, and so let's do that. So we'll go new, and we'll type in a name. For example, we're using the physical activity coach, that program perhaps, and you can type in a description. And you can decide whether you want to make it public or private. I'll make this one public. This is going to go along with my physical activity coach videos. So I'll make this one public. And I also check that as well. Tick that little box there so the README is initialized. So it's just set to something basic. Okay. So that's all you do. Enter a repository name, enter a description, whether you want public or private. Initialize the property, initialize the README, and then click create. So that's it. And you'll see there's a README there. That's the default README that you get. It's just got the name that you typed in basically. And there's only one file there, the README. Okay. And if you want to copy or clone that down to your PC, you come up here and you go and click that little link, or download zip. Let's do that. We'll download zip. So we'll do this all through the web browser. Okay. Let's save that to my folder. Okay, so there's the file there I've downloaded. I've downloaded it to a Java folder on my hard drive. And let's extract that. Just go extract. I've got 7-zip installed here. If you've got a different zip program, doesn't matter. Just do extract to that path. Okay, and refresh, and there's the README file. So I can click on that, and there it is. So if I change this file now, my source code will go here as we work on a project, and I'll save that. So that's now saved on my local hard drive. Now, if I'm doing all this through the web browser, I need to come here and go upload files. Click that upload files button, and then drag and drop the README. I'll just move that over a bit. So you've got to drag and drop it onto there. Drag and drop. It's a bit hard to show on a video, but there you go. Just drag and drop, and you'll see the files are there. Type in a comment. Update README. And then click upload or commit. Okay, and you'll see it's processing your files, and then it's taking us back to the project view where we're viewing our project, and you'll see, wow, look at that. It's updated the change. Okay, and if we want to add more stuff here, for example, let's add a text file or a Java file. Physical activity coach. .java, and I'll create a little class, public class, just a brief skeleton of the program, what it's going to look like. Then that's saved there in the repository as well. We can go back to our browser, click the upload files again. You can drag all the files up if you want, but that one hasn't changed, so that won't be recorded as a change. So you can just drag the ones that have changed if you want. I'll drag all files, and you'll see nothing will change the other one. Okay, and initial commit of Java. So I'm typing in a comment, and then I'm committing changes, and it's taking us back there to the project view or repo view, and you'll see we now got 2 files. Look at that. And you'll see I checked in both files, but this one hadn't changed. So that's why this one's still got the prior comment. It hasn't been updated. Okay, so I dragged 2 files up, but one hadn't changed. So GitHub's smart enough to work out what's changed and what hasn't. Okay, so you're safe to just drag up all the files if you want. Now this works fine through the web interface. If you've just got one project or two projects, if you've got multiple projects, it gets clunky. If you're working as part of a team and you've got multiple people updating files, how do you know whether these files down here are the latest files or whether these are the latest files? So really the web interface is really just something to get you started. Just have a bit of a play, and but the main thing you want to do is get into a Git client. Okay, and so I'll show you, we'll talk about that next. Okay, so we've done step one. We've created a GitHub account, and we've done everything with GitHub we needed to do: download files, upload upload updates, and I've just done a live demo on that. So the next thing you do is you can download and install a Git client for whatever OS you're using, so Mac OS, Linux, Windows, whatever you're using. And that's the one I'm using at the moment. So gitforwindows.org, and you can download that, and that comes with command line tools and a GUI. Okay, now I find the GUI pretty awkward, to be honest, so I don't like using it. So you can use the GUI if you want, and it's the same sort of thing. You're just basically dragging around files and right clicking and going commit and all that sort of stuff, but you're not doing it through a browser. You're doing it through the Git client that's local on your machine. The way I prefer is to type in Git Commands, and you can run Git Commands via the command line. It's really very easy. Let's do it. I might delete what I've done already, just so we can start from scratch here in my little Java folder. I'll delete that. Okay, and I'll go, because I've installed Git for Windows, I've got these extra commands here. Open Git GUI here, or open Git Bash here. And Git GUI is just a basic DOS sort of command line. Git Bash is a lot more powerful. I recommend Git Bash, much better. Okay, so that opens up this window, and if I go ls, you can see I'm in C Java, so I'm in that same folder where I am, C:\Java, so that's where I am. And what I can do here is go back to my repo and click clone or download, and click that little icon there to copy this whole link to my clipboard. And I can then go git clone on the command line there, and the command here is the Linux command for pasting, which is shift insert. It's not control V, it's shift insert. Okay, now paste that link in there, and you can just hit enter, and it's creating a local copy of our remote repository, our remote project. So I go back to my Windows folder here and click F5 to refresh. You can see there it is there, and there's my code. So you can see it's got the two files, and it's also got a special .git folder, which you don't need to worry about. That's where Git stores its updates and what's been changed and all that sort of stuff. So you don't need to worry about that folder. Don't go in there. Don't play with it. Okay. And there you go. So, and again, we can make changes, and to check the status of your local repository against what's in the cloud, you just go git status. Oops, sorry. We now need to go into this folder here. So I need to go right click on the project and go git bash here. Okay, that's better. So git status, and everything's up to date. It's just saying everything up to date. So in other words, what's here locally on my folder is up to date with what's in the cloud. So everything's good. Let's make some changes locally, and I'll just put a comment like that in my code. That's the only change I've made. Let's now do a git status. And it says your branch is up to date. So in other words, you've got the latest files, but you've got some changes you've got some local files that have been changed, and the one I can see is that .java file. So GitHub realizes that you've changed something locally, and what's in the cloud now isn't the latest version. Okay, what I'll do is I'll go git add dot. You can name the file if you like, so you can type in that whole name, or you just go dot to add all the changes. Okay, and then git commit -m, and inside single quotes you can type a comment, add a comment, header, just a silly comment. Okay, so git commit -m, and then inside single quotes add a comment header. Okay, and you see it's done insertions into the repository locally. Now we want to push those changes up into the cloud. Okay, so we're pushing our changes up into the cloud, and that's really easy. It's just git push. And that's it. So everything now in the cloud's updated. So now if we go git status, it should say everything's up to date. Everything's clean, everything's up to date. Okay, so it's really only four or five commands you need. So git clone brings your repository local and expands it into a folder. Git status to see what the status is, what's changed locally and remotely. Git add dot to add everything that's changed. Git commit to add a comment and commit the changes, and git push to push those changes up into the cloud. If ever you see a good way to start when you start each day, if you're working as part of the team, the first command you should type is git status maybe, and then git pull. Okay, and that brings the latest code. Any changes that's changed up in the cloud that you don't have locally, it brings them down locally onto your machine. Okay, so git status and git pull are probably the first two things you should type if you're running as part of a team. Okay, so they're basically the commands you need. Just simple command line commands: git clone, git status, git add with a dot, git commit, git push, git pull. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 commands. Easy, and they're only short commands generally. You definitely want to do git pull often if you're working on a team project, because the files in the repository on the cloud might be updated and your local versions might be out of date. So you don't want to start making changes locally and have those conflicting with what's in the cloud. GitHub can handle a lot of that stuff. It can merge changes in, but it's just best to avoid that and try and get the latest version and do it often. Righto, so that's using it through the web interface and doing it through command line. That's really all you need to know for working in my courses and for working through videos. That's all you need to know. If you're using Eclipse or Netbeans, that's got Git functionality included in them, so you can just right-click on projects and send them up to the cloud and all that sort of stuff. So Netbeans and Eclipse and all the modern IDEs integrate directly with GitHub or any other version control software that's out there. They're really amazing. So we're just using TextPad, so that's why we need to worry about things a little bit differently. And there's one other option, of course. So if you don't like using the web interface, which is fine, you don't have to like that at all. That's only ready to get started. And if you don't like any of the GUI clients and you don't like the command line, then you can always develop your own GitHub client as well. And I've got one that I've got developed here that I'm working on, and I can easily change between my various clients. And I've taken all the names out, of course, because I don't want to really break anyone's privacy. And you would know already, I'm a uni teacher, been teaching for a long time, but I can very quickly change between my repositories and things really quickly, and I can right-click on various repositories and check their statuses. And if there's any files to be added, I could click add, commit, push. I can pull in the latest versions. I can fix corrupt repositories. So all this functionality I've just built into my Java program. This is all written in Java, this little client. And it might be something we do in the future, maybe, if people request it. We could develop our own little GitHub client or our own whatever client. This is just a little project I've been working on. And I can do status all to do status alls or whatever. Makes it really easy to work with GitHub. And a million times better than any other GitHub client I've seen. But that's because I've developed it myself, so it works exactly the way I want. And that's often the way that happens. If I need software, I usually just develop it myself, because by the time I've scrounged around trying to find it and learn how to use it, I just think, oh, I can make something so much better myself. So that's sort of the curse of being a programmer. You end up writing everything yourself, which is good fun. I love it. Okay, anyway, that's enough of GitHub. Hope that was useful. Thanks for watching.